Hey guys, so yeah, I'll try and keep this short. Basically, had an update today, a few bug fixes, a couple different changes, but the main thing is we've got private matches now. So, um, all you gotta do, jump in on your character, and you can start private match down here. It doesn't seem to have improved loot or bonus XP, which is, I guess, is perfectly fine because I mean, if you go into a private match, you're gonna be with probably, well, in most cases, with people you can work well with. It's not just gonna be random, so you kind of need that bonus XP and loot, whatever, for your random matches. But anyway, just enter an ID here, so whatever, I don't care. Um, okay, and you get your mission power ups option. Expensive, not really. And it takes you here. You can pick your map from the section here. They seem to catch up with me clicking rather slowly. It's interesting. Anyway, and guess once people join in the game, this will change to like start game or something, and you just click that and it'll start the game or whatever map you've chosen. Um, yeah. So other than that, there's been a couple of changes to weapons and stuff. We got a note here. Firstly, semi-auto weapons can no longer be overclocked. Um, I like this change. I think this is awesome because it was a bit of a bit of an exploit anyway for most weapons. I mean, stuff like the Hicks, personally, well, I guess it's not really that wasn't really that bad on that one. You could overclock that one, still get the max clicks per second out of it. Not really a big deal, but yeah, it was buffed anyway. It had stuff like that had base damage buffed, so that it wasn't as big a deal that you can't overclock it anymore. So that worked fine with that. Yeah, works fine with me. Um, but the only thing is, I haven't actually noticed this taking effect yet. I mean, we've found semi-automatic weapons and overclocked them, so I'm not sure if they intended to do this or something and it's not come through yet, or if they've like excluded a bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff, because I haven't actually found one that I haven't been able to overclock yet. But yeah, that's kind of strange. But if this does happen to everything, then I approve that. I think that's a good change. Um, Got note here: existing guns with overclocked already on them will not change, but no new ones of that type should drop anymore. This is basically legacy, like legacy items. It turns anything before into legacy items. People always complain about this in games, but it happens. It's in every MMO I've played has legacy items. They're pretty cool. I like them, so I'm not complaining about that. A lot of you probably will, and I can't stop you from doing that. Um, yeah, again, he went into a couple other miscellaneous changes, which is mainly in four. I noticed in four skills. I'm not sure if there's any more, so I'll just go through them quickly. Skills. The four skills are just in order. Well, health regen, pay grade, grenade, and crit. Health regen got a little bit of a buff. I think let's see, 25% buff. I think it went from 2 to 2.5, so pretty sizable. But I personally am not going to use that still. That's just me. But I mean, I reckon health regen could be paired very well with a tank build. I mean, because your health is going to be worth, like each health point you have is going to be worth a lot more in a tanky build. So I think that could work well. Just like don't go toughness, basically. Focus all on defensive, like body armor expert and tough body, and get health regen. And well, yeah, it's gonna regenerate your maximum health fast since you have less health, which doesn't sound like a big deal. But I mean, if you wanna get a bunch of points elsewhere, then that's the one I probably wouldn't max. But yeah, that's I don't know, probably not right there. I haven't really theory crafted into the tank build that much yet, but whatever. It I'll look into that eventually, but that's just not what I'm into at the moment. Pay grade was increased to 12.5% in end game cash reward, which just in my opinion further proves that they don't know where the money is coming from. The money does not come from the end game cash reward. That is not significant. I mean, this maxes out to like 300%, so you're multiplying it by let's see, multiplying it by like four point something times, roughly four times. Four times that end reward is really insignificant in the long run. Uh, You pick up a lot of cash in the level just in drops. You can sell your turrets you find in the level for a lot, and you get like 10,000 cash for each strong box you find, and yeah, and you find a lot of strong boxes. But I guess it really depends on what mission you play, because some are just good for finding cash and some really aren't. But maybe this 4 times end mission reward will help you that. So personally, I don't like the idea of gimping my character, making it really weak, so I get more cash from an individual level when I could just make my character strong and clear the level faster in the first place, so I can do it again quicker. But yeah, two things I'm not interested in. Grenade damage was doubled. Honestly, I don't I don't like this either. I mean, I do agree the skill was bad, but I don't think increasing the damage it gives really is gonna make a difference. Because the reason I don't choose this skill isn't because it doesn't make my grenades good. It's because I can't efficiently make a character around using grenades. They're too expensive. You can't afford to just buy grenades every game and use them to beat the level, and you can't really. And I don't really see the point if like I don't really see the point of making a character around building like putting that many skill points into this skill when you're not going to use grenades that often. I don't know. If anyone uses that skill, why? Eh, whatever. Critical shot. The base crit chance was reduced by 0.5%, so it used to be 16.5 max, now it's 16. So that means in total across all your armor and stuff, the maximum crit chance is now 35%, which I don't have a problem with. That's fine. The crit damage as well, though, was reduced by 1% per level, which makes me sad. Used to be 225%, now it's 201%. That drops the maximum crit average damage down to about 70%, which is still a nice, fairly sizable bonus, so that's pretty decent there. It used to be like 77 or 79, so it's a decent nerf, but it's not too strong. Um, I think it's fair, though I wish they hadn't done it still. But yeah, whatever. Um, firstly, we got some buffs across weapons like Sublight Com 2. It had its damage increase, which is pretty cool. I didn't really like this weapon before, just because it was built around being a bossing weapon, as in like high damage, low rate of fire. That's the type of thing you see in a bossing weapon. If you want a mob weapon, you go for like lower damage but high rate of fire, so you can hit more like AoE or something. And that's really what makes the mobbing weapons. But this did not do that. It's more of a bossing weapon, but the actual DPS it gave out did not compare to any other bossing weapon. And it was really like it still is really rare. So I think it's the rarest one. Honestly, I found it the least of any bossing weapons. But uh, yeah, it's still not the top, but it actually compares now, which is cool. I think it has like 31k average DPS on it, which is nice. That's fairly decent. It can play pretty good now. I don't mind it anymore. I'm glad I kept this. I think there was some other changes, but I don't really remember what this looked like before. So yeah, and apparently the Titan chest was buffed. I don't really remember what it looked like before, but the melee attacker damage seems to have gone up at least. I think I've never actually used it, as you can tell. Um, um, so yeah, main thing I wanted to talk about was then the stripper and the gigavolt. These were both kind of nerfed. Firstly, Gigavolt, it had its rate of fire halved. I think that's all. It had its rate of fire halved. Um, I don't see why people are complaining about this honestly, because it was a gun before which like these two guns before they were like two of the very few guns that are actually really good. Probably the only guns that are actually like that good, but you can't really pick. You don't really know which augments to go with on them. And what I mean with that is like it's not clear enough for you, because to be completely honest, overclocked was an exploit on both of them. They were both semi-auto, and like you weren't gonna get 20 RPS on a gigavolt. You weren't gonna get like I think 16 on a stripper. That's unrealistic. You could very few people could potentially reach that. I personally can reach 16 clicks per second in a very short period of time with two fingers, but like, but it's not a reasonable thing, and it was an exploit that was kind of allowed. So they've halved they have turned them full auto, so you don't have to click rapidly anymore to use them. And they've halved the rate of fire, but left overclocked on them, which was removed from all other semi-autos, apparently. As I said, I don't know if that actually happened, but apparently that was removed. So now that they're fully auto, they kept their overclocked, so they've still got the same rate of fire as they should have had beforehand anyway. So there's really no difference. Um, they were both ones that you didn't really know what to pick on that last augment anyway. I mean, I think most people picked like capacity for a stripper. I never liked that. If I was gonna pick something to like, make me shoot more, I'd pick race modded. That's just me. Um, I don't know. Maybe although since I'm going for like a racy character everywhere else anyway, maybe I would pick capacity since I've already got enough race modded. But I would still prefer something like adaptive over that for those sticky situations. But that's the thing. You don't know if you're gonna pick like overclocked, or you couldn't really do that then. But you don't know if you're gonna pick deadly because deadly's such a small bonus. It's kind of good, I guess, but I mean it's not really that amazing. And then it's adaptive, which is helpful in some situations, but it's not really worth kind of using honestly, unless you're using it for mobs or if you're using it in multiplayer. In which case you'll get Savage Devastators and Savage Necrosises at higher levels, which you do in fact um, benefit a lot from having adaptive. Or like yeah, and Gigavolt, I'm not too sure what people went on this, but there certainly wasn't anyone that went overclocked unless they were going to exploit it. And yeah, maybe some people would go overclocked on this without intending to exploit it because was it 8 RPS? It's not too hard to click faster than that, but you wouldn't get the maximum potential out of it you had. So I don't know. I still don't think that overclocked would have been a popular choice. But now all it does is make that pretty much a choice you should probably pick, which pretty much every gun is like that anyway. I mean, every gun, deadly and overclocked, is pretty much the best combo on them. It's the best combo in terms of damage for them. So it's really not any different to the norm to just have deadly overclocked or tenacious overclocked as the go-to. I mean, if you want to get damage out of it, it I don't understand why people really have a problem with this, and I honestly I just think it's because you even if you realize this is what was good for the guns, and now they're actually going to be better than before because they're like full auto, they're easier to use. You're going to get more potential out of them in the long run since you don't have to constantly keep up that clicking at the fastest rate possible. Um, you just it's just because you don't have your good weapons anymore, and so you want to complain and get it destroyed so that it's harder for everyone else. But I mean, I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but that's what I think. And this is a beta test. It's an open beta, but you joined here knowing that this is a beta. So if you're gonna get annoyed that stuff gets balanced in the beta, you shouldn't have started playing in the beta. Uh, whatever. That's all I have to say. I am not gonna be around this weekend, so you won't see me for a few days. Maybe tomorrow, but not for a couple days after that. So, um, yeah. Sorry if you got annoyed by my rants or whatever, or if you're not really interested in what I think. But there we have it. This is most of the stuff that was in today's update, and I will see you on Monday.